Good evening and welcome to the South County Fire Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for June 4, 2024. I just want to confirm that we are recording with our new system. We are recording. Very good. So welcome to the meeting, and I'll go ahead and call us to order. And our first item is a Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, we'll continue our chat.
Okay, the first item we have is approval of the agenda. Commissioners, you have the draft agenda in front of you. Is there anything else for the agenda? Anything else for the agenda? If not, I'll move we adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Teoflax. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. That takes us to the consent agenda, which includes the payroll summary and authorization for April 2024, payroll authorization and summary and authorization for May 2024, claims vouchers totaling $97,951.71, and claims vouchers totaling $733,006.90. I will move the adoption of the consent agenda. Is there a second? It's seconded by Commissioner Wittes. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. That takes us to the approval of the meeting minutes, item number 5. And the meeting minutes are, draft meeting minutes are May 14, 2024, regular meeting, and May 21, 2024, regular meeting. I will move the adoption of those two sets of regular meeting minutes. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Fernahoff. It's been moved and seconded to adopt those two sets of meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward in the agenda to item number 6, which is public comment. Is there any request for public comment? Let's start first in the room. Any request for public comment? Not seeing a request for public comment in the room. Let me turn it over to Ms. Blankenship for online. Do we have anybody requesting online on Zoom? No request online and no request in the room. So we will move forward in the agenda. Thank you. And on to our next item, which is the Fire Chief's Report, item number 7. Good evening, Chief Eastman.
Good evening, Chair Kenny, Vice Chair Lawrence, and the rest of the board, staff, and the public. I have an extremely brief Chief's report. We have been working with the city of Edmonds, specifically Mayor Rosen. I guess I want to thank staff because I had staff working on Friday, which was their day off, Saturday, Sunday, to do some work to help the city of Edmonds with their conversation night on the, starting their own fire department, annexing into the RFA. And I guess I'd like to say Leslie Hines, Christy, our PIO, James Curtis, Chris Bothwell. I know I'm going to miss people. Chief Wittes was part of the conversation with us as the leader of the intergovernmental. Jennifer Pardee, those folks worked not only on their normal day off on Friday, but worked Saturday and Sunday with me to provide, I believe, exceptional information to help the city have the information they need to continue the conversation about what their future for fire and EMS services are. There was a meeting today at 5:30. Chief Isotalo listened to that, and he's also listening to the county council or the city council meeting. That's why he's not here. There was a lot of dialogue at their work session at 5:30. Mostly about what the challenges are for starting their own department. I did not listen, but the brief I got was it was a very substantive conversation. And it sounds like the resolution requesting annexation will be on the agenda for next week for the board to consider passing the annexation, requesting annexation of the RFA and to request annexation in. So that's really what I have. I don't have anything else. I just want to thank the staff that really put in the extra effort this weekend. I think we helped our partner in the city of Edmonds with their continued conversation about what to do and give them the appropriate information to make an informed decision. So with that, it concludes my comments unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Chief Eastman on the chief's report? Any questions for Chief Eastman? Not seeing any questions. Thank you, Chief Eastman. Moving forward, then the agenda to our legal report, we have Rich Davis on Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Davis.
Good evening, Commissioners. I wanted to follow up with a discussion that I had started a few meetings ago, and that was regarding tax increment financing. And we have had an opportunity to do a little bit more research in the office on this, this manner of taxation. I wanted to provide a little bit more context now that we've learned a little bit more about it and potential challenges. We're aware of at least one department, fire department, that has been subject to 2 TIFs, 2 increment financing areas, and is probably going to be subject to a 3rd. So this is a real concern for fire departments, both fire districts and RFAs. As you know, tax increment financing is not in and of itself a tax. It's a diversion of taxes. So what happens is a port district, a city, a town, a county, or any combination of those can create a tax increment financing area. And within that area, any increase in the tax, any increase in assessed value, the taxes attributable to that go to the sponsor of the tax increment financing area. Now, it's interesting because the statute excludes from that schools, port districts, and public utility districts. But the RFA, if a tax increment financing area was formed, would lose the tax revenue because it's not one of those that are exempt. Interestingly, 42 years ago, the legislature passed a tax increment financing statute, and it was challenged in court. It went all the way to Supreme Court. And in 1995, the Supreme Court held that the statute was unconstitutional on the grounds that it diverted tax dollars away from public schools. There was a provision in the, and still is in the Washington Constitution that prohibits that. And so the court was, we went back and reviewed the briefing and the materials that were submitted to the court. And the court ruled on that on that singular issue. But there were other constitutional issues that were presented to the court, which the Supreme Court declined to decide. Now, it's the court's prerogative to say this issue resolves the case. We don't have to deal with these other issues that have been raised, and so that's that. And that's what the court did. And it might have done it out of political reasons, might have done it just because this constitutional provision was very clear. But what you find is that there are other constitutional arguments that are potentially available to agencies. And because you're seeing a real impact on fire departments and other junior taxing districts from this, I think at some point you probably will see a challenge that makes its way through the courts. This tax increment financing type of statutory scheme has actually been applied in just about every state throughout the United States. And there's a very poor track record of challenges to it. And so the odds are not great. But there are a few constitutional arguments that we're looking into, that one of which appears to have some merit. And that is, one article of the Constitution says when a tax is imposed, it needs to be imposed for the reason that's stated. And so you have a fire levy, for instance, an RFA or a fire district have a fire levy for the support of providing fire and emergency medical services. Well, the tax increment financing scheme diverts money from that purpose to another purpose, which is essentially economic development. The purpose of the statute really is to provide a stimulus for private development in an area that it wouldn't otherwise be likely to occur. And so it's interesting. There are definitely arguments available, and arguments which have not been addressed by the Supreme Court, even though they were presented to the court many years ago. So I just wanted to kind of raise this issue. I know we've talked about it a little bit before, and there will be certainly more developments to come. And as I said, potentially a challenge at some point in the future. And I'll keep you apprised. But I thought that would be informative to at least let you know about what we've discovered with this, and probably we'll be giving an update at the legal committee meeting in the fall in Spokane if anybody ends up going to that. And that's all I have for tonight. And I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Got to remember. Thank you. Are there any questions from the board members for Mr. Davis on the legal report? Any questions? Any questions? Not seeing any questions. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where's David?
I'm not sure. All right. Next on the agenda moving forward is item number 9, which is the union report. And I believe we have President Pat Moore present on Zoom. We did. There we go.
Yep.
President Moore, good evening.
Good evening, commissioners. I'll also keep my report short tonight, but not really too much to give you guys. Short of, I will not be attending the intergovernmental meeting this week. I don't know if you guys got that email, but I will be out of town with my kid this week. And outside of that, I think kind of for us, we've been just getting geared up. We got some conferences we're going to, and looking forward to hopefully maybe wrapping up some of the DC negotiations. As we move forward, it's kind of the one thing we got hanging out there. And obviously we're working on, this, really happy to see the work that's being done by the staff and everybody on the city of Edmonds, and know that we obviously support that, and also the benefit charge that's going to be coming up. We're working on trying to make sure our membership's educated on that, and the reasons behind all that. So outside of that, I think that's all I have for you guys. Unless you
Great.
guys have some questions.
Thank you, President Moore. Any questions from the board members for President Moore? Any questions? Not seeing any questions. President Moore, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Also, I just wanted to comment, I do like the new IT setup in here. It's actually pretty well, it's nice to view and everything. So it's a good job.
And the audio, is it pretty good?
It's great. Yeah,
Okay,
it's perfect.
Good. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda moving forward is item number 10, unfinished business, starting with A, which is the Snow 911 revised ILA for approval. And we'll start with Commissioner Fernhoff.
Yes, good evening, commissioners and our liaisons and guests. Last time we met, I did brief you that an interlocal agreement would be coming to your attention for action. This item supports changes from Snow 911 to include law enforcement. It doesn't affect fire. With greater detail, I now turn over to Chief Eastman.
Thank you, Commissioner Farnoff. If you go to page 53 of your packet, there's a letter in there that talks about the proposed amendments to the interlocal agreement. Really what it does is the first thing it changes their assessment formula. And really the long short of it is the way they used to do it. It would have moved the city of Linwood's police department from a medium department to a small department. And really with the size for what they do and the population serve and the call demand that they have, it doesn't really make sense for the city of Linwood to be a small agency. So they've adjusted the formulary that kept Linwood as a medium sized department within the structure they have for the representation for the law side. The other piece they did is there was a non-voting board seat for entities that have not both police and fire, but just a single entity. It was not utilized, so they've removed that. And then there was some administrative things. They don't have wireless technology anymore, so they changed that terminology to information technology. And there was one other administrative change. And so if you don't have any other questions, staff would look forward to a motion to accept and approve the changes. And I wasn't able to determine if it's a signet, if we sign it and if it's the chair that signs or the chief to sign. So I would ask that the motion to approve stipulates whoever's appropriate, the chair or the chief, authorized to sign the document moving forward.
Thank you, Chief. So I'd like to make a motion that we move this forward in any capacity of the legal body required, whether it be the board or the chair.
It's been moved by Commissioner Fernhoff. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lawrence. It's been moved and seconded to approve the revised Snow 911 ILA in the manner necessary to move it forward as indicated by Commissioner Fernhoff. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing any request for discussion on the motion. We'll move forward on a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner Fernhoff. Okay, that moves us forward then to item 10B, which is a boardroom technology update with IT manager Chris Grunwald. Good
Thank
evening.
you. Good evening, commissioners and staff. Just wanted to give a quick update. As you can see, we've got new stuff in the room. Morgantown was working since last Wednesday to pull out all the old technology and upgrade it to the new technology. They've gotten pretty much everything done at this point. As you can see, everything seems to be functioning as it should. We got to still work out a couple little bugs, and there will be adjustments that are going to need to be made over the next couple weeks and months, just depending upon findings that we have. But the solution that we put in here is a pretty, it's pretty robust, it's pretty expandable, and it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be changed fairly easily to accommodate for the things that we need to do. So for instance, all these screens will rotate with the exception of the one over here to this side because of the pole that's there. We can turn them in any way. These two screens that are on carts here can actually be moved to various spots around the room depending upon the type of event that's coming in here. All of the sound is being worked on. They've done a bunch of work on it, but there may still need to be different adjustments for bringing up audio in different areas and other situations like that. But for the most part, everything is in here. And they've been working pretty hard over the last week and a half here pretty much to get everything programmed for us. So I really thank them for the work that they've put into it. And we're just happy to finally actually have some workable technology. We have sound back in the room, so hopefully everybody can hear each other now. And it sounds like everybody's hearing on the Zoom meeting pretty well as well. So definitely, if you guys have any feedback, feel free to, I guess, send that to Melissa or send it to me, and we'll work to see what we can do. There are things that can be adjusted, and we'll kind of go from there. But that's pretty much it. It's all in here.
Any questions from the board members? Commissioner Fernhoff.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much to you and your team for an exceptional upgrade. This is fantastic. I just have, I guess, a curiosity question. We used to have this owl staring at us, right? And so if you spoke, the owl would follow you around. Is that a manual kind of keying that we're doing now, or is there some technology that follows the speaker?
Yeah, so they were working in here to basically do, I forget the terminology. It's basically like beamforming. There's two mics in the ceiling, actually. They're not being used in this setup for mics. They're in the middle here, the things with red lights on them. They actually are able to basically say, if somebody's speaking right from the square that's around you, this is the camera angle to go to. So it's all being done automatically. And those are the kind of things that we might need to adjust as we move forward. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it works pretty well. And yeah, so that's all automatic. We do have the ability to take over manually, but it's in auto mode right now. So,
well, it looks really good. I also see there's a little screen on my microphone here. Will that be populated with like presentations or feeds that are here, or is this just kind of a placeholder?
It's the mic. There is some stuff that could be done with the mic in the future, but for the most part, if you tap on it right now, you'll see like who is unmuted right now.
Oh,
So it'll show
okay.
you who's speaking. But
all right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions from board members? Any other questions? If not, it's sounding good.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, we have item 10. Sorry, that was the end of unfinished business. It takes us forward to item number 11, which is committee updates, starting with Capital Facilities Committee. Commissioner Lawrence.
We haven't had a meeting for a while, but just maybe there's someone in the staff has something to say or not.
Just a quick update on Station 22. Phase 1 is completed. We'll be bringing forward to the full board the Phase 2 documentation from TCA at the next work session. Unfortunately, Brian Harris from TCA isn't available that night. And so if we get to where we need to be at the board meeting, and we'll talk to Commissioner Kenny during agenda planning, I am working on getting Brian here if we need to have that conversation again for the third meeting, for him to do that, for the board to approve the second phase of the Station 22 moving forward. So something to look forward to in the next couple of meetings.
Okay, next, Finance and HR. We don't have Commissioner Chan with us tonight. Do we know anything about any report from that committee? And if not, that's okay too.
I actually don't think they've had a meeting, and I think staff is working on an agenda to work with Commissioner Chan when he gets back to set what the agenda and the conversation topics for the next meeting are.
Very good. Sounds good. Next up, we have intergovernmental with Commissioner Wittes.
Thank you. We did have a meeting with Snohomish Fire Board. That was Commissioner Kenny went and met with them when they asked to get together with other fire departments. We went over there. Want to apologize for letting Commissioner Rowland know 2 hours before the meeting. I won't do that again. Sorry. We went over there and there was Surfer was there, District 4, Granite Falls, Sultan's chief was there. I think yeah, they think they were. And it was just a kind of a meet and greet. Different things. Snohomish brought up some ideas of mapping, for instance, that the county has. We let them know that us and Surfer, we have our own stuff too. And it was more of not to say the merger word, but to go ahead and what can we do and share and just talk. They asked if we should have more meetings. We all concurred that we probably should. I kind of looked back at it. If we would have had that meeting maybe 20 years ago, we'd probably be in a different place today. So other than that, it was nice, and hopefully we'll continue on with that, see how that goes. Commissioner Rowland, do you have any other comments on that? Okay. And I have not heard when the next meeting is. As far as meetings internally here, we have not had one. It'll be this Thursday for our own intergovernmental committee meeting. So there'll be more next week after that. That's all I have.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. And then finally, 11D, Snow 911, Commissioner Furnoff, did you have anything else?
Nothing new to add. We haven't met yet. We'll be meeting later on in this month, so we'll have an update for you. Thank you.
That sounds great. Thank you. All right, that moves us forward in the agenda to item number 12, Commissioner comments. I wanted to open that to see, just a reminder that Snohomish Fire Commissioners has its June meeting this Thursday at, it's actually going to be a hybrid meeting. If you are interested in coming to Snohomish County Fire District 4, that's City of Snohomish, in downtown Snohomish, there'll be dinner at 6 with the meeting online, but also in person at 7 in their main meeting room at District 4. So if you know tonight that you are going to be, you're interested in attending, let me know and I'll get you on the RSVP list for dinner. But otherwise, 7 o'clock on Zoom. I'm trying to think. Actually, I think I sent out, actually, you should have all gotten, I sent out the link. I think Fire District 4 is using Teams as their meetings platform. So it'd be a Teams meeting at 7. We're having, it's our annual kind of, the commissioners like to have a discussion before the summer hits of what the Washington State Department of Transportation is doing with regard to highway construction in the Snohomish and Island County areas, because it can have significant impacts to fire responses. So we've got spokesperson, the regional spokesperson for this region, which I don't remember what the region number is, but kind of the Snohomish County General Northwest Washington region from Department of Transportation will be there to talk about all the various construction programs that they have this summer and fall. So that's usually interesting and sometimes involves South County Fire. So if you are able to, please consider attending. Other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Wittes?
Did we excuse him?
No, I was not clear if he was coming. There was some information that maybe he was, but he obviously isn't. So he's still on vacation. So
He has tried to call me several times. He's trying to log into the wrong meeting, so I'm trying to direct him, but I can't really answer the phone.
well, if he doesn't make it, we'll excuse him for being on vacation and thank him for trying to come in while on vacation. Other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? All right. If not, then we have an executive session for 2 items. Collective bargaining pursuant to RCW 4231-44AB and review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 4231-101G. And Chief Eastman, I'm thinking for your part of it and then my part of it, I'm thinking 45 minutes. Together? Yeah, together. I think that's probably good. Yeah, let's do that for 45 minutes. Why don't we take at least a 7-minute break to 7:35, and then we'll meet from 7:35 to 8:20. That's 45 minutes. We do not, Chief, we do not anticipate taking action. We do not anticipate taking action at the close of executive session, and so we will. Take a brief recess for about 7 minutes or so back to executive session room and go into executive session. Thank you.
The executive session has been extended by 15 minutes till 8:35. The executive session has been extended by 5 minutes. The executive session has been extended by 5 minutes.
Without objection, the executive or the South County Fire Board meeting is adjourned at 8:46 p.m.